Can you talk about Ben Scriven's performance last night?
Well, again, it's a performance that obviously is recognized for an outstanding one. And, watching the highlights, I didn't watch the game specifically, but watching the highlights, there was a lot of flurries, a lot of power plays, a lot of pucks directed towards the net, and he stood tall in there. And obviously, with a shutout, it's an exclamation point on it.
Can shots on goal be a good thing for a goaltender if your team is constantly outshot? Because it's been suggested by one of your goaltenders that the more the merrier, I think is what he said.
Well, I don't know if that's exactly the way the coaching staff would view it. I don't think you view it in the same way. I think more than anything, it's the quality of the shot, where it's taken from, how many of the shots are second and third opportunities, say rebounds from the critical area. That would be the concern. I think goaltenders would love every shot from the outside and the long shots from the sidewall and the blue line, that they have an unobstructed view and they get to feel the puck and they get in a groove,
You'd said earlier in the season you want this to be a tougher place for opponents to play. Are you satisfied with the job the team's done of compiling victories here the last little bit? Or?
Well, I think that as a coach, you think you should win every game at home. And that's the reality is this is your building, and I think if you look at teams that are winning championships and winning division titles and going deep into the playoffs, that they have a home record, that they have a little bit of an edge when the opposition comes in. They know that this is going to be a tough place to play, and I think that we're still working towards that.
Is this a game, though, where you may be worried about the start, just not a traditional rival, sub-500 team, you guys are in a bit of a role, and they're coming here?
They were 3-0 in their last road trip, or their last road games before they went to Boston. So I don't think they were in any position to take anybody lightly. They basically outworked us the last time they were in here. So that's what's fresh on our minds as a coaching staff, and we relay that message to our players.
Randy, what is Trevor Smith's situation?
Trevor Smith is not available. Not the hand. If you can believe it, he hurt himself in the weight room. So we thought we'd have him available, but 2 days ago he came up with an ailment from and after our post-practice workout.
Clarkson Boland, would you expect Clarkson back?
I would expect Clarkson back before Boland makes his debut again. I think with Clarkie, it'll all depend. He had a number of the staples removed from his elbow prior to or post-game or prior to game when they meet the doctors, and he'll have possibly some of those removed again tonight. So we won't know on him, but obviously we would predict that David Clarkson will make the road trip.
Randy, Tim Gleason, what he went through last game, some folks were calling it the trifecta of pain. He went down 3 different times there. Did that raise the team, the bench, when he keeps going, and it looks like he's going to play tonight, I suspect?
Yeah, I guess that the question mark was after the game. The injury that he received was more of a burner in the shoulder area than was anything. And then he had the scan done. There was nothing there other than some stiffness. Obviously, he was sore. But again, the maintenance day yesterday helped dramatically, and he had an opportunity to skate this morning. And when you see people that give up their body and sacrifice, it has to be instilling to your group. If it isn't, they're in the wrong business.
What kind of effect has Gleason had on Jake and Morgan in terms of how you've used them now?
Well, again, we've talked about Jake and Morgan not having to play up against the top 2 lines. And that's somewhat of a comfort, for them, again, in their growth and the youth in which they bring to the table. You'd like to spare them some of the tougher minutes, the tougher assignments that go with it. But when somebody gets hurt or somebody goes down or they get the second opportunity to play on the power play, we think that's a huge positive in their development. And for the most part, they've delivered.
Based on what you've heard, is there any chance you see Boland before the Olympics, Steve?
I would think that there's a 50-50 chance. We think the way he looks anyways, he looks like he's moving, quite freely out there, and for the better part of the skates, he's doesn't seem to be affected by it. But obviously there's things going on that are inside that are taking a little bit more time, and it's a dramatic injury. It's a difficult place to heal. It takes time, and we're asking a guy to do something and his body's telling him another, and that's when the push and shove becomes where he can take it. Medically, it's healed when you get the assessment from the doctor, and then it'll be a pain issue for him.
Did he need a conditioning assignment before he reached?
No,